Hey, welcome back. Thanks so much for joining me again today. I'm glad you're here, and I hope you're doing well. I'm doing very well, and I'm glad to be here, and I'm thankful for all of you. Thankful for your questions, and thankful that you show up for each video. Now, I've been getting a lot of questions on one particular topic. Now, a while ago, I put this video out, the Rickroll retention. And if you haven't seen this, you should go check that out to learn this fairly easy to do, really good looking vanish of a coin. Now, people have been asking me over and over, how do you get rid of the coin? How are both of your hands empty? So in the beginning of that video, I did a short demo of the move, and I used some different techniques to show both my hands empty. So today I want to talk about complete coin vanishes and how to do them. Now, I've broken the topic down into three main categories that I think kind of cover all the ideas. Now, I've never seen it broken down this way, but I think it's an effective way to think about the concept. So you have a literal complete vanish. Like the coin is gone, it's out of play, it's not in your hands, it's gone. Then you have a believable complete vanish. So the coin's not totally gone, but they can see both of your hands empty at the same time. And then the last one would be an implied complete vanish. So the coin is still in your hands, they just don't see it, but you can't show both of your hands at the same time empty like this. So with each one, there's some trade-offs and advantages and disadvantages. Just like everything else, there's no perfect method for a magic trick. There's always some type of trade-off. So let's dive into each of these ideas. Now, like I mentioned, what I'm about to show you, it will apply broadly to any coin vanish technique, any false transfer as a cleanup, or the proper word is acquitment. And that comes from the rule of law. Like in a court of law, when someone's acquitted, that means there's not enough evidence. So in coin magic or magic, an acquitment is a cleanup of the dirty work. So in other words, you can use these ideas in all of your magic. Any small object manipulation, maybe not card magic, but cups and balls, or a pen cap, or any small object. So the first concept would be a complete coin vanish. So I'll just use the Rickroll retention to kind of demonstrate this. You'd perform the technique, you'd do a little magic, a wave, a snap, something, a blow, and the coin is gone. It's not anywhere, it's just gone. So this technique is called the Around Vanish, and it's from Greg Wilson, one of probably my favorite, if not, close to favorite performers ever. And this is really easy to do. And again, you can do this with any small object. So on the spot, you can do it with quarters, small change, borrow their change. And it's pretty simple. It's just a matter of good choreography. So whatever false transfer you're using, maybe it's a French drop, you're gonna cause the reason for the vanish, so some kind of gesture, but you're gonna allow time here before you reveal the vanish itself, what looks like a vanish. Now it's really simple. I've just classic palmed the coin, but you almost don't need to palm it. So here's what you do. You come here, the coin's gone, I'm barely palming it. it's kind of just sitting in my hand. So I go boom, boom, then my chest, my front pockets, then I feel for my back pockets. Now behind my back, I'm throwing the coin from one hand to the other. You could literally hand it over, but I think it's quicker to actually kind of just toss it over. So that's 1, 2, 3 when you're tossing it. When I'm tossing it, I kind of will turn to my right, toss. Now I bring my right hand back up and my left hand goes in the pocket. As I do this, I turn to my left, so now my left arm is out of vision. It's behind my body. That's 4, and then 5. My hands switch places, and then you're totally done. So again, you have your whatever technique you have. The vanish, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's done. So that's one technique for a complete vanish. Now the all-around vanish it's probably the most versatile because it's ending up in your pants pocket. But maybe you have a button-down shirt with a breast pocket here. This is also very useful. So again, any false transfer here, after the vanish happens, you can roll up your sleeve, ditch the coin in the pocket, roll up this sleeve as a way to show that it's not hiding up in your sleeve. And this is way easier. The all-around vanish is very easy, but this is super easy. And with this one, you can change the timing. So for example, instead of doing it after the moment you've shown the vanish, you can do it right before. So you have the coin here, and then you ditch it. Now you show the coin has vanished. So you can change the timing on it with just some choreography. Another similar technique would be before the transfer even happens. So here you're showing the coin. I'm going to tug this sleeve. Now this gives a motivation to tug up the other sleeve, which will then bring my hand close to the pocket. So it'll look like this. I'm showing you the coin, and watch this coin as it gets smaller and smaller before it turns to dust and it's completely gone. So again, you have the one method that happens after the vanish. So boom, the coin is gone, it's completely gone. Then you have the moment right before the vanish. So right there. And then you have the moment right before the false transfer even happens. So you show it here, you show it here, and then it's gone. So that's one technique, but 3 different ways because you've changed the timing of it. So those were some ideas with a complete vanish, like a literal complete vanish. The coin's gone completely. Now we can do the idea of a believable complete vanish. So a couple ways where you'd be able to show your hands, both of your hands at the same time. So for all intents and purposes, they will believe the coin's actually gone, but it's not totally out of play. So the one I did in the demo of the Rickroll retention, we're here and the coin's gone like that. It just ends up in balance palm. So I'll show you that from over the shoulder. So the vanish takes place, and then here I'm just tucking my thumb under and leaving the coin here, which allows my fingers to be kind of free and loose. Now I show this hand empty and I can kind of brush here and go like that. So from the front it looks like here, and then you're there. Your angles are a little tricky with this. This is great for a controlled situation or social media where you have just one camera looking at you. But it can work in a semi-intimate situation where you're able to back up and have everyone stay in front of you, because it's very bad from either side with the coin just hanging out right here. So another way to achieve a believable complete vanish would be to get the coin totally out of sight. So on the back of the hand or on the forearm, where you could show both of your hands totally empty, but the coin is actually still under your control. So to do this, I used a little bit of saliva. Now, alternatively, you could use chapstick, just a little swipe on the spot where you want the coin to stick. And that actually probably works better, and it's a little more sanitary, but no one else is touching my coins anyway. So for example, the retention of vision vanish. If you can get that coin in a fingertip rest position, then you can maneuver it to that spot and have it stick right where you want. So this is, again, very angly, but in the right circumstances, if you have control of where people are, man, it looks good. It looks very visual. And again, great for a social media type video. So similarly, on your forearm, you can do a similar kind of thing. I'm not super good at this because I honestly don't find it worth the effort to do this every time. I'm just never in a situation that much where I have people in front of me and I'm backing up to show coin magic. But again, it's super visual and it's very convincing looking. So again, I just put a little swipe there on my forearm. If you have that coin in fingertip rest, I'm here and I just lightly toss it and it lands on my wrist or forearm. You have to just be careful with your angles. And I mean, if you're back far enough, there's nothing to see here. When you get really good at this, you can trap the coin between the bottom of your hand and your wrist and be able to show your hands palm down and palm up. This is also effective if you have a wristwatch. Now, this concept is in modern coin magic. It's nothing new. So for example, on page 34, the new era coin go. You can see in the illustration the coin being placed on the wrist. He's displaying his hands palm up, displaying the back of his hands, and you can even bring your hands to your side and the coin is trapped between the wristwatch and the bottom of the hand. So this concept goes way back. Again, it's very visual, very fooling, but I find it to be so unreliable, it's not worth the effort to put into it. But it's a fun thing to play around with, and you might find it worth your time to work on this stuff. So those were a few techniques for a believable looking complete vanish, where the audience has no reason to believe the coin is still in your possession. But again, there's trade-offs there with your angles and also getting the coin back. If it's stuck on the back of your hand or on your arm, you'll often see people do jerky movements to get that coin back in their hand, which to me totally ruins the illusion in the first place. So That's the trade-off with those methods. The last concept here is an implied complete vanish. So, for example, I've shown a coin, I've taken it here, we've crumbled it up. It actually gets really small to where you almost can't see it anymore. And then it's gone. So I've used different techniques here to imply that the coin is completely gone. You see both of my hands. You don't see them at the same time. But I think there's enough implied there that it's believable. And I find this the most effective approach. Well, number 1 and number 3, this one, I use most often because I don't always want the coin totally gone. I want to continue on with a routine or go on into a different routine. So maybe the coin goes, but it comes back so that I can continue on to some other idea. So for this, I'm using Mellini subtlety. So that's when you have the coin in classic palm and you get your angle just right where they can kind of see part of your palm or through your palm, but not the coin. So this is just mirror work, finding, the right posture and the right position for your hand to sell this. Another thing that sells this is holding something. Now, if I'm pinching something else, it's easy to classic palm a coin. So in this case, I was holding the coin, which was getting smaller and smaller. So if you turn to your side and do this, they can see one hand totally empty, but this hand is implied to be empty. Now I do another technique, which is called a changeover. So I end up with this speck of nothing in my empty hand, my actual empty hand. Now I'm going to grab it with this hand, the dirty hand, and I'm going to drop the coin into this hand as I come away with the speck. Now they've seen this hand empty, and now they've seen this hand empty. So the whole thing it's implied, but with the right pace and choreography, it sure does look like they saw both hands at the same time as being empty. And again, you can add another technique to this, which is a hand wash. So it would look like this. You take the coin, squeeze it down until it's small. It's hard to see, but it is still there. And then we can toss it up like that. And it's totally gone. So I did the same thing, but finished up with one last little technique. And this is an easy way to do it. It's not overly flourishy or overdone. So the coin is in left hand finger palm where I left it from this moment. Now I just bring the hands together kind of naturally as I follow the coin up there. The audience will look where you're looking. So right at this moment, bring your hands together. Now with my right hand, I'm just going to squeeze that coin and take it in thumb palm. So it's just from here to here. And you can kind of just brush like this. Now let go of the coin so it's on your palm. And you can kind of gesture like this. And now your fingers are wide apart, your hand's flat. And this is kind of a natural, I don't know. It's a natural kind of a gesture. And then from here, you can just classic palm. Maybe you want this coin back, so maybe you catch it out of the air and kind of bring it back. It's up to you. It's up to your creativity. But the bonus of this technique is that the coin's never out of play. So you can continue on with your coin magic. All right, so I hope those ideas were useful for you and help explain what I was doing in the other video, the Rickroll retention video. Again, if you haven't watched that, go check that out for a really fun and easy to do vanish of a coin. And it can look like the coin's totally gone. Now, this is another technique that I might get into in another video. Let me know below what kind of topics or concepts you'd like to know more about. And again, I thank you for being here, and I'm glad you're doing well. I'll see you next time.